Thanks everyone for taking time out of your busy days today and around your lunch hour. So I won't be offended if you're eating, and we just ask that you mute. So some familiar faces and names, hello, and anyone that I have not met. Again, I'm Nicole Peoples. I am the Energy Services Director at COAD, and we have 17 community action agencies. And as you know, a lot of the systems that folks were utilizing to manage inventory and client relations were either DOS-based, as in WeatherTight, or they were utilizing spreadsheets, access databases, or Broma, something to that effect. Most recently, folks were looking at CAP 60, which is quite an expensive program to utilize on an annual basis. So we developed a system that is a cloud-based system, and it's housed in a cloud-based system called QuickBase. So it's based off QuickBooks, and we've worked with a programmer to develop it based off the WeatherTight and Broma systems that some of you may be familiar with. So I thought today I would give you all a little bit of an overview of the system and how it works and the capabilities and some of the reporting technology. We have around 10 agencies that are utilizing the system. Some outside of COAD and some inside of COAD. So we're opening this up to folks in Ohio to utilize. And if you're interested, please ask questions. We can talk outside of this presentation after the fact. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. So this is the dashboard of the system. As you'll see, there are lots of tables because I'm in the administrator view right now. There are other views where your inspectors or clerks, that type of role, would not have access to all the back-end tables such as employee wages and be able to edit information that you might not want everybody to be able to edit. So the dashboard can be customized, but we're showing a little bit of the job statuses here. The client status is eligible or pending. Everything is geocoded as well. We do have a historic search table to where you can import your records from your current or previous systems. So whether that be the OATS list from the state, or your WeatherTight system, or your access database, we are able to import some basic historical information so that your folks scheduling appointments and doing intake can search in one place to see if that household and address has been previously served. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you how the system looks. We're going to start with a new client. And your client number, again, could be your OSHA number or an internal agency number. So we're just going to label this a client number. First name, we're going to do Miss Lisa Wilson today. And I apologize, I have trouble typing when people are watching me. So I'll be the caseworker. This will house, we recommend only the last 4 of the social. And your service address, we're gonna do somewhere in Columbus today. I told you guys I can't type while people are watching. And again, you know, sometimes we have different mailing addresses, so you can check mark the box. We've got home phone and other contacts here. So this can house all of your basic client information. You can designate your legislative districts so that when you're talking to your representatives, you're able to know, that we've served so many clients for health and safety in their areas. The landlord information, of course, if there is a landlord, there is the eligibility here for household size and who is in the home, and all your dates of reference. Any other assistance as well, the demographics, and the client utilities. Your tables are previously set up typically to show your utilities and your vendors and such, so that they'll already be in the system, but you can add new ones at any time. So this client has Columbia Gas of Ohio, let's say, and an annual usage. And let's say they also have AEP. So our client records can go in here for any of our programs. A lot of times we have agencies that are utilizing the system with their inventory for weatherization, which, as you know, you can have multiple programs, or they're using it for CHIP or Housing Trust Fund, or they're utilizing it for their electric auditors. So they would have a warehouse for each of their electric auditors to maintain the light bulb and such inventory. So we are going to save this customer, and we're going to think of the job as the housing information. So this is basically your NEAT audit information, and I apologize, this woman's name is missing the A. But she's applied for, let's say, HWAP today, and they are eligible, and we're going to inspect. Let's say we've set them up at the end of the week. Obviously, priority points, priority level. If you have a different job number that you'd like to designate, maybe you use initials and the ocean number. Job status, we're going to say in progress. So again, you can keep track of your clients that are denied or deferred here as well. So the jobs information, we said we're going to inspect. You can house your inspectors in here, and the building type information. You don't have to fill out any of this information. A lot of people may not choose to, list all of the, the information found in the NEAT audit, but you are able to. I think, I'm sorry, people are in the waiting room, John, so I'm admitting them. I'm just making stuff up, so we're going to be.
Nicole, you were able to let them in?
Yes. I don't know if anyone else is waiting here, but let me look. I think we're good. All right. So as you can see, this may look like a lot of other information that you typically collect. You can give an estimate of the job, what you think the totals might be. You can then move to adding your work orders. So, excuse me. So you have your job, and your job is the record of the household. Your work orders you can think of as your funding sources. So we're going to do a work order for HWAP. And so we're going to call this HWAP 20289098. You can designate HWAP DOE or HHS here, or you always have the option to change the funding source afterwards as well. You can add any work order notes here. This can be a printable page. And we're gonna always save and keep working. So then we can go ahead and add inventory items from our packing list, which we've already set up. And once we tell it what warehouse to go to, we have a list that pops up that location with what we have in stock to use. At this time, you can go ahead and pull your inventory down for the job when you're ready to work, and you can assign it the area, and you can assign it a funding source. So I'm going to go through and just add some things here so they'll show later. So I think you guys get the idea. The packing list then shows up here. You can go to the work order. After you have your packing list, you can add employee time on that job. You can add outside items that were purchased that day. And you can also add your contractor invoices for folks that utilize contractors. So I'm going to add some employee time here. Working on the attic. So we have these handy dandy buttons here, so we can go to the work order cost report. It shows you what material and labor costs are in the job. So I did want to kind of move through the fact that you can have different work orders on this job. So if you have Warm Choice or Dominion or AEP or Housing Trust Fund, each of those funding sources would be a work order for you. That way it would compile for you the BWR report, and I'll show you some more reporting features here in a bit. So let's go look at this customer and I'll show you a BWR report. So this information may look familiar to you. These are our housing details here, all the stuff that your folks enter into Ocean. This is the DOE dollars from their crew, DOE dollars from contractor, HHS dollars from the crew, material and labor. You can also choose any of these links to dive down to where that information was entered, which is pretty handy. Any health and safety measures, any contractor costs as well. So we had some contractor do some health and safety work. So you can document your invoice information there. And any leverage funds, the total breakdown of the job and the job summary report. So again, I noted all of these tables. This is the setup tables for where the information pulls from. So as a user of this system, you have control over your material codes and what they're called, whether they're active or inactive. You have control over your inventory lots, your master items list, your vendors. The system is pretty user-friendly in the matter that there's a couple different ways to add information. So you can utilize, you know, a plus button to add a complete new vendor, or you can use the grid edit function in these tables by hitting a button, coming down to the end of the table and adding them right away. Okay, so another handy function of the system that I really like is the agency date reports. We put in data here for September, so that's the month that we're going to look at. And this report shows you kind of your monthly BWR. It shows you the value of inventory that you have on hand, your HWAP materials in progress, the number of units, health and safety in progress. We have here the HWAP funded units that are in progress, health and safety, all the completed HWAP jobs here, by client name and total cost as well, and funding type. And then you can see your leveraged only jobs. So these could be your EPP jobs, your Duke Energy, whomever you have just leverage funds from. And then all of your completed jobs report here, and then a full list of inventory by location. So I hope that for folks that are used to utilizing WeatherTight, that this looks pretty familiar to you, just in a upgraded and 21st century manner. But it is, like I said, pretty user friendly, and we do have, you know, folks that are utilizing it that I'd be happy to have you talk to as well. And I will take any questions that you folks have.
Well, we have one from Bobby Conrad, and it says, can this be made into, and then Bobby, if you wouldn't mind retyping that. Or I can unmute her and she can just ask the question. Why don't we just do that? Oh, I can't do that. Can this be made in a video link that we can go back? Yes, I'm sorry. This is being recorded, and we will be posting this to the website. It'll also be in the February newsletter. Nicole, I have a question. You've obviously worked with a lot of different types of software over your career in this. How does this differ from other tools? And what do you think are the strengths of this one, and why did COAD choose this over others?
Very good question, John. So I have been with the organization for about 10 years. And so I've gone through many different upgrades of systems, especially with Columbia Gas. We started with this system because we were having trouble tracking our EPP and AAP cap refrigerator orders. At one time we were faxing orders. We were emailing, we couldn't really keep track of the value. So we set up an ordering system that all of our agencies could have access to input the client and the refrigerator to order. We could track status, we could import information. Information is very easy to be imported into the system with a copy and paste function. You can also download any of these reports into Excel. So we found it very easy to work with, and that's where we got started. We then worked with a programmer to utilize this cloud-based system for our HWAP delegate budgets. So we've been working in it in a while, and we've found that it has many different uses. A lot of people use it for a CRM. So you can have many different creations in this QuickBase system. So we found it pretty handy. And when people were balking at the cost of Cap 60, especially for smaller agencies, it was an annual fee of around $6,000 annually. We thought, gosh, you know, we really should look at doing something else. So COAD as a group decided to kind of work within the system to see what we could create. And I think that the programmer did a pretty good job, as well as working with our agencies. So again, very user-friendly, pretty basic setup. I can show you the other view that you can see as an inspector clerk is a little bit more formalized. You don't have all of the back-end information. You basically have access, you know, to your clients and your inventory and your historic data. Okay, we've got some questions. I also have previous videos that I have done that are more extensive, if anyone would like me to share those. So the upfront cost of the system, we've piloted it out, and we're selling this system at a one-time fee of $6,000, and then the only fees are by user. So each user has an annual fee, and that's the only ongoing cost. So with the purchase of the application, we include 2 free hours of training and onboarding, which I'm not a stickler to. You know, I've got some folks that need a couple different sessions, or they may need to bring other people in, or at a later time, they might want to import their historic data. So it is kind of a process moving to a new system that I'm happy to help with. Implementation time is really up to you. You know, some people are hesitant to get started with new technology. Some people are more gung-ho about it. So it really depends on what you're utilizing now. I suggest that whatever you're utilizing, that you go ahead and finish up any in-progress customers there, and then kind of start fresh with importing your inventory and information and starting with new clients at a central point in time. Again, we can always import your historic information for reference, but with all of the data fields, we can't really merge old systems with new systems. So if we start now, can we get everything going for the next grant year budget? I really think that that's totally doable. I mean, it's February, so we've got plenty of time until June, July. The cost per user right now annually is $420 a year. I think I've answered everyone's questions that I see here.
Are there any other questions? Nicole, if you do have other videos of training videos of this, I can certainly include those links in the...
Sure, yeah, they might be a little bit longer. I don't know, maybe I would just send those out to folks directly as well instead of posting them somewhere.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none.
Yeah, I did have some quotes from folks that I can't find now, but it definitely is a time saver, a process saver. You know, WeatherTight is operating on an Access database, which is really outdated because it's only on Microsoft 2003 or 2007. So a lot of people were worried about those systems crashing. So I think the sooner that folks move to an updated tracking system, the better. I've had some folks that utilize contractors a lot more and they don't really have any internal inventory. I'd love to say that the system would work for you, but it's really set up for folks with inventory. In the future, we may develop something that's specifically just for contractor use. But at the moment, it's sold as the coined application that it is. And after that, if you need any customization, there is just an hourly charge for our program developer. And I think John asked a question about adjustments to the system and additional reports. So any information that's put in the system can be extrapolated as reports. So if we look at, let me just go here a second. So right here under reports and charts, and there's a lot of classes that users can take on QuickBase themselves just to become familiar with the applications and the reporting and the fields and how they work. But you can create different reports that your agency might need based on the information that's already housed in these tables. So it's just kind of customizing it to what you'd like to see. And that's not hard at all. That's, that's myself doing it. That's you doing it as you get familiar with the system. But if there's anything that's kind of bigger than what this is, that would require customization. And the cost of that is $200 an hour. What program do we need to operate the system? So it is cloud-based. It operates on any browser. I run Firefox a lot because that's what I like, but it will operate on Edge or any other tool like that. There's also an application you can download on your phone for QuickBase, and you log in and you'd have your application there.
Any other questions? Well, Nicole, I appreciate you being our first episode of OPAE Shares. And, our goal is to make these nice and quick. We don't want to be on these for an hour and a half. So I also appreciate the succinctness of it.
It's really weird not hearing people talk. And I'm sorry, I did go through a little fast, but I don't want to bog folks down in the details. If you would like to give me a call, we can always set up another Zoom meeting, personally with your organization to kind of review things in more detail. I have another question.
Yep.
Designed to work with crews. We use crews and contractors. Do you see any problems? Absolutely not. We all use crews and contractors to some extent in COAD, and on the BWR report, you can definitely see jobs with crews and contractors. So, and that is kind of broke out here. You can see crew labor costs, work order, subcontractor, labor, and materials. So. And John, if you'll provide everyone on with my email address as well, or I don't know if I
Sure.
should share it in the chat, but feel free to, again, email me, give me a call. We can always set up a different meeting.
That's terrific. Yeah, we will have this, like I said, posted up to the website probably by tomorrow. And I will include Nicole's contact information as well. And again, if you are interested in hosting an OPAE Shares, you can find the registration or the request application on the website. And I posted that to the chat, and I will include that on the web page for this as well. So we'd love to have more of these. We're going to do them monthly. And Nicole, again, thank you for being our first one.
Thank you. Yeah, and I would just like to give a shout out for this online tool as well. If you have any other needs at your organization, I know they've done a lot for like senior programming and transportation and the medical field. And so there's a lot of different applications that can be housed in this program as well.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks everybody. It's good to see your names on the screen at least, and I hope at some point we can all see each other in person again.
Indeed. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Laura.